Hey soldiers, you're not going to be able to work and make a living if you espouse the wrong views. Now, you might feel that you already know what the wrong views are right now, but this will be a constant moving target. And we've got two examples of individuals who have run afoul of this. Well, we got several examples, actually. We'll go over many of them. The latest being Jordan Peterson. Now, he's a psychologist out of Canada, more famous for his work in, I guess you would say, the manosphere, which is a loosely confederated group of males throughout the world who preach some degree of male empowerment. Now, we also know that there was the arrest recently of Andrew Tate, another person in that sphere. Now, listen, with regard to Andrew Tate, of course, if he did what he's accused of, then, reap the whirlwind, all right? But let's also keep in mind that he even said he's in a corrupt country, that being Romania, a country where money talks, BS walks, kind of like America, right? But much more transparent in the ways that you can manipulate the justice system. So if someone out there doesn't like him and he's in Romania and he's in a Romanian jail, guilt or innocence really doesn't matter at this point. It's a question of who's got the most money. So we've seen him jailed. And of course, one of the ways he makes money is online. So you definitely are not going to be able to continue to do that behind bars, especially not to the extent that he was doing it. Jordan Peterson has been told that, and this piece might resonate with a lot of you, because I'm sure a lot of people in this audience have professional licenses of some sort. Licenses issued by the state. I know I do. The state, capital S, okay? So whether you have a Series 7, a Series 6, an insurance license, a real estate license, here in Maryland, you got to have an MHIC or a home improvement license. So on and on and on. You got to have a license to do hair. All of these licenses issued by the state. And what we're seeing with our neighbor to the north, Canada, which is supposed to be an enlightened Western government, right? Well, what we're seeing is Jordan Peterson, he criticized Justin Trudeau. And that has culminated in the state, capital S, saying that Jordan Peterson needs to basically go to a re-education camp, get his mind right. And if he refuses to do so, they'll take his license, his psychology license. Now, there's something very important in here I want to mention right now. Jordan Peterson has multiple streams of income because he's a commentator on the Daily Wire. He does some other things. He's an author. All right. So that license, if they take it, I don't even know if he still makes income by seeing patients. But again, the fact that he has multiple streams of income gives him flexibility in being able to tell these people to take their re-education camp and they know what they can do with it. Now, here's a tweet from Jordan Peterson. To reiterate, I face public disgrace, mandatory political re-education, disciplinary hearing, and potential loss of my clinical licensing for agreeing with Pierre Poilievre, believe I pronounced that right, and criticizing our standing Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Okay, so he criticized Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. Somebody called Justin Trudeau like a perpetual 14-year-old. It's so true. And look, let's stop pretending. The guy's dad, Justin Trudeau's father, is Fidel Castro. Okay, I mean they look almost identical. You take that mustache and beard off of Castro, and you got a Maury Povich situation, buddy. You are the father. Furthermore, the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree with regard to ideology, because Justin Trudeau is he's a weird guy, but he's also prone to dictatorial behavior. Peterson goes on. I am willing, if CP Ontario concurs, which they won't, to make absolutely every word of all of this fully public so that everyone can decide for themselves what is actually happening, and to let the chips fall where they will in consequence. the authorities up there in Canada have made a bit of a mistake here, because Jordan Peterson is such a public figure that they probably would have done well to just sit back and say, you know what, we're not hurting this guy money-wise, so why even do this? If we go after him, he's got a public platform. He can bring this to light and possibly make us look bad. Let's just keep picking on the middle class and, the guy who's worked for 15 years. He's got his, he's got some license with the state. And, he said something on Facebook we didn't like. Let's just go after him. He doesn't have a platform, right? Rest assured, they are going after people like that. If they're going after the Jordan Petersons of the world, they're going after every economic strata below that which is connected tightly to the cocktail parties that Justin Trudeau attends. So this is what's going on now. If you look a little deeper, you remember that way back in the day, 2010, I believe, we had the Arab Spring. Actually, it might have been January 2011. But in any event, what that showed the powers that be is that the internet and these social media platforms are able to be used by the people to organize and to gather. Remember the concept of the flash mob? Those were facilitated by social media, okay? People being able to communicate quickly. Now, since then, we've seen, especially here in America, believe it or not, we've seen the FBI come out and embed themselves deeply within Twitter based on what Elon Musk has been saying over in the Twitter files. You've got actual FBI agents. Now, there are all kinds of things going on out here in the world where the FBI could be involved in and trying to stop. But I always tell people, listen, the FBI has done an awesome job of kind of rebranding themselves after the J. Edgar Hoover days. But the FBI is the same organization that sent a letter to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King encouraging him to off himself. Okay, this was done by the FBI. So this organization has a history of oppression in this nation. All right. So you've seen them recognize, you've seen the authorities recognize that social media is a problem in terms of them maintaining total control. You saw what happened in the Arab Spring. They saw it. They saw that culminate in, actual toppling of heads of state. Now, Peterson goes on to say, I've been accused of harming people, although none of the complaints involved in the current action were clients of mine, past or present, or were even acquainted with any of my clients. And he's making that point because the organization that is calling for his re-education is the College of Psychologists of Ontario. And they must lord over the licenses, and you got to walk a fine line. And if you don't, they're coming for you. The College of Psychologists of Ontario is the body that oversees and sets the standard for the profession of psychology in Ontario. Now, Jordan Peterson has advocated for traditional masculine gender roles. This is a view that is out of step with a vocal, I'm not going to say mainstream, but a vocal group of people that more and more indicators are, revealing that this is not a majority view. But he's also questioned climate change and opposed pronoun usage. So he's committing all of the cardinal sins, right? He also often criticizes Justin Trudeau and sometimes gets into heated debates with others on Twitter. In February, the clinical psychologist announced he was under investigation by this College of Psychologists of Ontario. We are now in a situation in Canada under Justin Trudeau where practicing professionals can have their livelihoods and public reputations threatened in a very serious manner for agreeing with the official opposition and criticizing major government figures. And again, I stress, this is not North Korea where this is happening. This is Canada. For whatever reason, a lot of the Western cultures are souring on the concept of male identity and masculinity, when in fact, that whole concept is integral to our economy. Look, the most dangerous jobs are filled by men. I mean, it's a fact, okay? And this is also, one of the reasons why women live longer. They get to enjoy more of this existence, which is very valuable, because if you're on this earth longer, then you have more time to build wealth. Okay, this is a financial news and education channel. Deep sea fishing and hunting workers. That's the most dangerous job, according to OSHA. It's probably the most dangerous job on earth out of any culture. You got logging workers, roofers. We had a roof put on this house. I've seen roofs put on properties in the area, on barns, and I never see any women on those crews. Not to say that women don't do that work, but look, let's just be honest. They are not the majority of crews that are manning these, or manning these fishing boats, these lumberjack crews. Construction workers are another, male-dominated field, and that's okay. Women, obviously they've been given the choice because they can get into these fields, and given the choice, women are saying, no, I'm going to do something else. I just want to do something else. It's all good, I know I can get into that if I wanted to, but I choose not to, and that's okay. This economy would grind to a halt if you didn't have the masculinity needed to get on a fishing boat and pull these fish up out of the water in the most arduous weather conditions. All right. Have you seen some of these grievous injuries that some of these lumberjacks and logging workers can sustain? All right. And that might be unpopular for YouTube, but strong men carry the economy. So this whole notion of playing down masculinity is antithetical to a strong economy, and it baffles me because we can celebrate the role and the contribution that women make without tearing down the male. Okay, but in this society, it's so binary with regard to our thinking in the West. Everything's so binary. If this, then not that type of thing. But no, I choose to celebrate the contribution of women, which God knows, for my money, I'd love to see Condoleezza Rice as president of the United States. I think she would do a job 10 times better than the one that we've got in there right now. But Jordan Peterson and others, Andrew Tate, could be a victim of this, could be the case where Andrew Tate is 100% guilty. I don't think we'll ever know. We're never going to know. But we do have to be careful in terms of these accusations being enough to convict somebody, okay? And some might say, well, what about Sam Bankman-Fried? Well, yeah, there's real money missing, and Sam Bankman-Fried doesn't have it. He was the CEO of the company. So, But when it comes to these other accusations about whether or not you hurt somebody's feelings, we're going to take away your livelihood because you might have done that. That's a very slippery slope and a dark road we don't want to go down. But at the end of the day, what you've got to do is you've got to make sure your income streams are diversified. That way, if you can continue to be free, and you don't have to bite your lip when things are said that you don't agree with. Okay, and we're going to take away your teacher's license because you don't agree with Drag Queen Story Hour. Take it. Fine. I got other sources of income. That's the place where you have to be. Unfortunately, or fortunately, in this country today, in this nation, in this society today, the Western society, your freedom is in direct proportion to your the dollars you have in your pocket, your assets. And even then, Jordan Peterson is a rich man. He's making a lot of money. You see how he's still under attack, but the attacks become less effective if you have multiple streams of income. And when it comes to this evil power structure that we're dealing with, take a look at this video where we're talking about how the Inflation Reduction Act was sold as this panacea to inflation. Also, it was going to help improve the climate and do all these things. These crooks down in DC are actually using this thing to put you further away from financial independence. They are actually robbing you with smiles on their faces Watch this video so you will know how to navigate these increases in taxes and inflation from the Inflation Reduction Act. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.